everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our gameplay overview and review of Grand Austria Hotel. I'm Mandy, aka the Board Gaming Pinup Girl, host of To Die For Games. Today we'll be joined by Tracy, the Gaming Maven, and Stephane, the Games Teacher. Let's jump back in and see how to play.
How to play. At the start of each round, the start player, who has the turn order tile 1, takes and rolls all the dice, sorting them by the rolled number and placing them on the corresponding action spaces. Then the start player takes a turn or passes. We will discuss passing in a little bit. On your turn, take the following actions. Take a guest from the game board, take a dice, and carry out the corresponding action. You may also take additional actions, provided you can pay the associated costs. We will talk about these in a moment. 1. Take a guest from the game board. This is an optional action. On your turn, you can take one of the 5 face-up guests on the game board and place it in your cafe. Pay the cost associated with the guest you took by adjusting your money track. If all 3 tables are full in your cafe, you cannot take a guest. Slide all remaining guests on the game board to the right and place a new guest from the draw pile on the empty space on the left.
Number 2, take a die and carry out the action. Choose an action space with at least 1 die left and carry out the action. The number of dice on the action space determines the amount of that action. When your turn is over, remove a die from the action space and place it on the lowest visible number on your turn order tile. Let's quickly take a look at each action space. A die space with 1. For each die on this action space, you can take 1 strudel or 1 cake. You cannot take more cake than strudel, but other than that, you can take any combination of the 2. The die space with 2. It is the same as the previous action space, but with coffee and wine. However, you cannot take more coffee than wine. Shucks. Any drinks or food that you receive from either of these actions can be placed directly into a guest's order. Any leftovers are then placed in your kitchen. Die space with 3. For each die on this action space, you can prepare an equal number of rooms. Die space with 4. For each die on this action space, you can advance 1 space on the Emperor track or your money track. You can split the total between the 2 tracks. Die space with 5. You can play 1 staff card. For each die on this action space, the cost is reduced by 1. Pay 1 krone and choose any of the 5 other actions 1 to 5. Take the action based on the number of dice showing 6 and not the number chosen. Additional actions. On your turn, you can also take the following additional actions. Once per turn, you can pay 1 krone to add 1 to the number shown on the die on the chosen action space. You can pay 1 krone to move up to 3 dishes and drinks from your kitchen to the orders on your guest cards. You can place a wooden disc on a politics card. You can choose a staff card you played with a once per round effect. Except for the first one, you can take the additional actions any number of times during your turn.
Passing. Instead of taking a turn, you can choose to pass. When you pass, you must wait until every other player has either passed or taken 2 actions. When that happens, the player with the lowest number still showing on their turn order tile takes the remaining dice from all the action spaces, removes 1 to the dustbin, and rolls the rest again, sorting them by number and placing them back accordingly. Then, that player can take a turn or pass again. Play continues until all players have covered both numbers on their turn order tiles, or there are no dice left on any of the action spaces. Politics cards. Each politics card shows a requirement. As soon as you meet the requirement of a politics card on your turn, you can place a wooden disc on the highest available space, receiving the printed number of victory points listed. You can only place one wooden disc per politics card. End of a round. At the end of the 3rd, 5th, and 7th rounds, there's an emperor scoring. After the 7th round and the emperor scoring of that round, there is a final scoring. At the end of each round, you can turn your staff cards face up again. Then pass your turn order tile to the next player in clockwise order. Emperor scoring. Each player receives victory points for their wooden disc on the emperor track, according to the value printed below the space that the wooden disc occupies. Then, each player must move their wooden disc a number of spaces back on the track according to what is stated on the board, 3, 5, or 7 spaces after the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd emperor scoring rounds. If your wooden disc is in the yellow area at the end of the round, you will receive the bonus on the emperor tile. If your wooden disc, however, ends up on the 0, you will suffer the penalty of the emperor tile. If your wooden disc ends up on the 1 or 2 space of the emperor track, you neither get a bonus nor suffer a penalty. Emperor tiles. There are 12 emperor tiles, but only 3 are used in each game. The penalty area usually shows 2 options. If one of them is not possible, you must choose the other option.
Game end and final scoring. After the 7th round, there is a final scoring. You will receive victory points for your staff cards that provide them. You will receive victory points for your occupied rooms, 1 victory point for each room in the first row of your hotel board, 2 victory points for each in the second row, and 3 victory points in the third row, and finally 4 victory points for each in the top row. You will receive 1 victory point for each crone and leftover dish and drink in your kitchen. You lose 5 victory points for each guest still in your cafe. The player with the most victory points wins. In case of a tie, the player who has more dishes, drinks, and crones left wins.
So I just had a glorious stay at the Grand Austria Hotel. What did you guys think?
So relaxed now. So relaxed.
I think I saw the governor. He's Austrian.
That was a good one. So I really enjoyed this game. Really enjoyed this game. What do you guys think? Yeah?
I'm a big Euro fan, so
Yeah.
I had a feeling I'd like it.
Definitely my kind of game.
Exactly. See? So it's getting 3 thumbs up over here right now. So let's talk about artwork. What do we think of the artwork on this game?
I like the style. It's very much in, I think Euro style games tend to have very similar look,
Yeah.
and I like the brightness. Lots of color.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the artwork was good. Lots of good use of color. I did enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy the artwork. That was really great. I'm a tattoo lover, as I know Tracy's over here as well. And I know it's something small that people probably wouldn't notice, but a lot of the art is outlined in dark black, which I really enjoy. So kudos to them on that. I really thought it made the artwork stand out against the brighter color. So I enjoyed that. Gaming mechanics. All right. So what did we think about that?
I like that the dice, because dice usually have a luck mechanic to them, it wasn't just varied on those because the action board allows you some control as to what the dice values are going to do for you. So
Yep.
that was great.
I liked the varied ways that you could, score points. There's more than one path to victory, which is always, provides replay value, and that's something I always look for.
Yep, so Nave summed it up nicely. All the things that I would have said. Replayability is huge. I'm a sucker for dice. Anybody who's watched our previous shows will know I talk about dice. I'm not very good at rolling them, but I do enjoy the fact that you have multiple options to choose from to score points. So it allows everybody to kind of take their own strategic route to win. So now let's talk about the quality of the components. I thought overall, I mean, they were good. I don't know if you guys found it anything different.
No, very nice thick cardstock. Everything is cardstock or cardboard, but it all didn't feel like anything was going to peel on me. I wasn't concerned about pieces wearing too quickly. The cards themselves had a really nice smooth feel to them, but not so slippery that they would kind of fly all over the place.
Yeah.
So.
I had two small gripes about component quality. One is the dice. They're wooden dice. I find they're maybe a little light. They don't feel great in the hand, but to be fair, you're not really spending a lot of time with them in your hand rolling them.
Can I interject there for a minute? Think Small World. Anybody who has played Small World, it is like that dice of death, similar type of quality.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And beyond, and you know, like I said, it's a minor issue. The other concern I had on the staff cards, the staff name is listed on the card in very small cursive font. In another language than my own native language, so it makes it very difficult to read out the staff card at a distance.
Right.
I think that name could have been a little more bold and easy to read. Other than that, you know, the game quality is pretty good.
Yeah, so I think that sums it up. All right, so what games would you say it's similar to, or maybe perhaps components that's similar, or game mechanic potentially that it's similar to?
Something we had discussed before was that it's a very point salad game. So it's a lot like Russian railroads, which you're trying to get a lot of points. There's a lot of different ways to get points.
Mm-hmm. I think I threw a Bora Bora in there. I'm not saying it's the exact type of game. It's just another way to get lots of points. So similar to that idea. Yeah.
The dice mechanics are not dissimilar from something like Kingsburg. Mm-hmm. They're different enough that it's, you know, definitely a different game. But you know, if you're familiar with how you use the dice in Kingsburg, it's not far off in this game as well.
Exactly. Would you guys say similar to Marco Polo a little bit in some aspects?
Has some hints of Marco Polo. Has some hints for sure.
Maybe that would be coming back to the dice placement and using the dice for different types of actions.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Taking them off versus placing them on is really the big difference between the two.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, do you have anything to add for that, or
no?
I think we've covered that. It's pretty good. So I think we've covered all the points. That's pretty much our review of the game. So overall, like I said in the beginning, I quite enjoyed this game. I tend to gravitate towards Euro, so I'm a little biased, but I actually really did enjoy this game. It's a game where you're going to have to sit down and actually read through the manual a little bit together if you're playing. There are little fiddly things, but overall, I thought it was quite good.
The best thing I can say about this game is 2 rounds through my first playthrough of Mandi's copy of the game, I was in contact with a local board game supplier in the middle of the evening on a Thursday evening, asking him if he had another copy of the game available for sale. And I immediately secured purchasing his other copy right away. I didn't want to let this one slip through my fingers, so I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, so if actually that's a good thing that you had mentioned that. So his name is Mayfair through Games District. They will have a website up soon. People in the Ottawa area right now will give you more details in the comment section below if you'd like to contact him to pick up some games rather than having them shipped, and his prices are pretty good.
Thank you, Laith.
Thank you, Laith.
I did want to mention something. I probably should have mentioned it earlier. The game plays up to 4 players. I personally found it played best with 3. People said 2. I liked it at 3. 4 I find can get a bit lengthy. I'm okay with that. Not everybody is. So just thought I'd throw that in there. And any final words from you, Tracy?
It'll probably be coming to the table quite frequently. So I think maybe weekly, kind of a game. We have a lot of play. Wow, long day. We have a lot of friends who probably will be able to pick this up pretty well, even if they aren't heavy gamers. But it's also going to appeal to those who do like those games with a lot of stuff going on. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Yay! Awesome. So thanks so much for joining us for doing a game overview and a review of Grand Austria Hotel. A big thank you to the gaming maven Tracy and the
Games teacher.
The games teacher, Stephane. I will get that right eventually.
That's okay.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.